Oh, I'm ibxtoycat, and welcome back to another live stream on the internet. This is going to be one where I'm going to be mostly setting up, I'm mostly really breeding a bunch of leather, because I have some fun plans involving bundles for this world, but while I do those, I need to wait, some time in between for my cows to grow up, etc., and I figured what better to do in that time than to... For some reason, I'm very to the left here. I figured what better to do in that time than to mine diamonds, and since I have an old world, as some of you might, I can actually do something kind of quirky and mine for diamonds at Y11. If you're not familiar, old worlds had, basically, they didn't have all of these newfangled deep slate blocks, and so if you have an old chunk, you have all of the diamonds that you usually get down at Y-57, but you'll also get some diamonds that would have previously loaded in at Y11. Any chunk that you visited before 1.18 will have those, and so in my world we'll be able to enjoy those today. First things first though, let's grab some wheat, let's feed it to these cows. I want to make so many cows that it's uncomfortable and starts to slow my world down. That's when I'll know that it's finally time to harvest them and pick up the leather, by the way, because I want to make an uncomfortable number of bundles. I have some grand plans to do with storage and it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, speaking of this one, hello everyone. Oh, are we live? We are live. Yeah, very worried about that. YouTube's been having some issues with the time change in the UK. It literally wouldn't let me set the correct time. I wrote the time that I wanted, and it literally added an hour. And I was like, no, I'm trying to say it's 4 minutes from now, not an hour and 4 minutes from now. Yeah, very fun thing. By the way, speaking of insanes, speaking of things that are insane, it's good to see you on this wonderful day. How are you doing? How's you playing an older version of Bedrock? No, this is the current version of Bedrock. That's the fun thing about it, right? So let's go down and let's show you what we're talking about, and let's go find some diamonds, shall we? I also, by the way, my title currently says Y11, but I am going to be mining at the lair that my farm is actually at, and my diamond mine is actually at, which might be slightly higher or lower than that. So yeah, every now and then we're going to come back up here and we're going to breed a new batch of cows, which means I'm going to have to make a whole hay bale into a whole bunch of wheat, but it is going to be worth it to me. So, is this enough wheat actually? We can maybe decide that as we go along. It looks like some cows are starting to kill themselves, which is, bad. I am, as much as it's great to pick up 29 leather, I'd rather use my looting sword on them, because when that baby grows up, it's just going to immediately suffocate itself. Yeah, I'm guessing we've definitely packed them in a bit too tight at this point. But again, the cow killing machine must keep going on. Speaking of things that must keep going on, hello everyone, how's it going? You having a good Monday? Sunday? See, I know my days. I hate that the clock went back yesterday. It's the good type of going back, but it just made me feel like it made me feel the exact same way that I lost an hour of my life. I woke up this morning about the same time as usual, about the same tiredness as usual, but apparently I slept for an extra hour. I think it is the cruelest game. Also, I'm mining at Y9 apparently. Oh yeah, we're doing a little different old school. I guess my head is at Y10. I guess we could make the argument. So yeah, we have all of these branch mines, which are technically, we could make an argument that it'd be better to like mine above them. We definitely make the argument that we're gonna need torches, so we will. And let's just start mining in a direction and see what we hit. It must be fun, right? And we'll pick up some stone along the way. That's always a good one to have. And look at that, we got iron ore. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good one if we got iron so early. Turn it back and force everyone to adapt to your personal time. It's crazy, but I feel like, why don't we all just personally agree to start doing that? Like, okay, if you want to keep your weird tradition of changing your clocks, then you can just show up late to things. If you love these clocks so much, you should be willing to do that for them. And if you don't love them that much, then clearly you don't love the tradition. This is just me being bitter and angry. I feel like they mess with the clocks, and it's like, but we're not using clocks to measure. Like that time is meant to be something that is measured, not something that is created, right? It's I think it's the same way people feel about inflation that comes from printing of money. It's like, no, you're not meant to. I know you want to have lots of money, but you can't get the money you want to spend by creating it. You gotta get the money that you want to spend in a way that doesn't devalue my money, because that would make me feel bad. You're effectively stealing some of the money that I have if you choose to print it to make more of yours. Technically, you can see Y11, so he's not wrong. Yeah, there we go, AJ. That's what I'm talking about. Also, took out, I have an old style world and made it infinite, but my Bedrock layer is still at 1. Do you know why? I don't know. That's really fun, actually. You'd figure that it would get converted in any update post 1.18. So it's interesting to learn that it did not. I wonder what happened there. Also, look, I do have a mine at Y11. Why did I make it at Y11? You know, why did I? I don't know for sure. But I could run all the way along it and then start making branch mines off it if I wanted to. Although that might be too many layers derivative of branch mines. But now, let's just pick up all of this iron ore. Because again, I want to pick up lots of ores in my world. There's some grand idea that I'm definitely going to have that will take advantage of this ore. And future me is going to really appreciate it when he works out what it is. So, Toycat 9 versus 11 controversy. It used to be a really big one back in the day of like, which is the correct Y level to mine at? It's kind of like the current day argument that it's always better to mine lower, but some people prefer mining, not running into lava, and some people prefer that. There is a best level to mine at, and then there is an easiest level to mine at, and which of those two is actually the best, if you feel me. So, yeah, I think we should stop going back and forth between daylight saving time, but the problem is there's an equal split between people who want permanent daylight and permanent standard time. Oh, Jeff Shannon, I have never in my life... Old Worlds are locked to version 1.17. They never got a 1.18 update. KMB, it sounds like he converted it to an infinite world, which you used to be able to do back in 1.17. So it'd be interesting if even an old converted world can never get the bedrock below it, because that would be something really fun to play around with, in my opinion. So I'm going to dig this going all the way that way for now, and then maybe do the same on the other side. And then we just make a series of branch mines at Y11 this way if we want to. Or we could mine at Y10 and make absolutely no one happy. Oh, you know I've just found my new favorite option. So, happy birthday, Little Big Planet, says parking lot free. You know what? Happy birthday, Little Big Planet, too. So, yeah, I want to, 9 versus 11, never forget. Yeah, one of the biggest controversies of all time is 9 versus 11. Definitely the only controversy I can think of that involves any serious numbers like that. But, yeah, I've started today a little bit off kilter. Usually when I'm streaming, it's like, oh yeah, I kind of do that emotional preparation, you know, physically prepare, etc. But I couldn't get YouTube to work with the correct time. It just kept saying, yeah, you'll be streaming in an hour from now. And I was just like, okay, don't know how to deal with this one. I'll just start streaming and ask questions later. But it should be a chill stream. I feel like these long opportunities, I feel like mining is the very reason that, some people ask, like, Toycat, why do you get so deep and philosophical when you play Minecraft? Couldn't you just, like, talk about Minecraft and, you know, like, stuff like that? And the answer is, like, it kind of stems from mining. Because once you understand mining, right? Once you know what your mine is like and you know what your mine is doing and all of those other things, once you understand it, it becomes a question not of, you know, it becomes a question more of endurance than anything else. And I think endurance is a fun thing in games. There is still some micro challenges here and there, but your brain is mostly able to engage in other stuff. Like me mining these blocks isn't using any amount of thought that could be dedicated from something else. And yeah, everyone talks about Y9 or 11, but what about X? You know, we don't talk about X, not on this platform. So yeah, it's kind of, there's this like spare, hey, diamonds! There's this spare brain capacity, not when I find diamonds apparently. There's this kind of like spare brain capacity that like, to me, when you give me like time to think, that's where I'm almost always going. It's like a little bit of a deeper thought about the world. Maybe that's a sign of something bad, maybe that's something, you know, I shouldn't be happy about, I should be very sad about in some way. But I always do think that there's a, I think it's like there's a deeper meaning to things sometimes, right? Like, we can either say that humans are entirely random beings that just randomly do stuff and sometimes that random is interesting. Or we can say that actually, nah, I don't think it's purely random and in fact, let's quickly, oh, we must be below a swamp right now. We could say that humans are purely random beings and that nothing has any impact, and that we're here by pure chance and will be gone in another 5,000 years if we're really lucky to last that long. And so let's just enjoy it while we're here. But I think the way bigger part of me is doing what humans have done forever and try to work out, like, what is our place in this, though, right? Like, we as humans do stuff that no other animal can do, and we feel like we live in a universe where there are no other things like us out there. And so how can it be that there's an infinite expanse, you know, like a vast space, you know, literally, you know, if only there was a way to describe that vast space in between things, like in the outside the atmosphere. I've yet to work out a good one for it. But yeah, it's like that's why my brain kind of goes to that, and that's why today's mining stream probably has that in the title. It's been a while since I said it, but I'm sure it says in there somewhere. Probably going a bit too deep, because that's what I like to do when I mine in Minecraft. So how many members do we need for the potato juice stream? I'm having my own potato juice stream right now. Oh, speaking of that, Dasher, it's 450. Good opportunity for me to remind people we're at 407 members. I'm very excited. Coming back from a little break, it is just the norm in streaming to, like, you lose, you know, like some % of your audience. Some people, they're like, well, you didn't make a stream this week, Toycat. You know, it's the perennial thing of like, well, you didn't make a video today, therefore you'll probably never make another one. And either the user or the algorithm just says, okay, I guess I won't be clicking ever again then. Which is, you know, kind of terrifying in its own right, I would say. Maybe just to me, but maybe more broadly. Please don't fall in the lava. Also, why do I have this shulker box on the ground? Oh, that was going to be the one I was going to place. I got a message from Polly E, who said, you'll never guess what I did today. Gathered 2 stacks of blaze rods, then killed the dragon, all without dying. Hey, congratulations! Congratulations. Also, I imagine copying this idea from a small YouTuber and won't even give credit. Oh, yeah, so if you're curious, I did hear this from Kat. I think she's been telling me to do this for a while. Or, like, at least mentioning she does it in a world. And I think I mentioned, like, months ago, like, yeah, I would love to do this myself. So my apologies. Assuming that person is on behalf of Kat, and that's not someone who's like, no, Toycat, I've come up with this unique idea all by myself. And if that's the case, then I would like you to give credit to Kat the next time you do it. There we go. How about that? What are you drinking? I've got some raspberry Sicilian lemon tonic water. Who knows what else? Oh, I know what else. Hey, Darren! Thank you. Good to see you in the stream. Glad you gifted 10 channel memberships today. Yeah, I was recently talking with a couple of friends, one of whom makes videos that, like, they specifically aimed at, you know, young audiences. Like, they wanted people who were, you know, like children adjacent, sort of. And they were talking a bit about, like, you know, one time they got a big tip, and they had to be like, okay, I know that you are like 11. We're going to work out how we get this money back to you. You know, like they couldn't in any good conscience accept it. And I thought it was a really interesting, you know, I gave them the advice about how YouTube Super Chats work and all that stuff. And it made them feel better about it. But also, I thought a really interesting, something really interesting that I took from the conversation was that they were like, oh yeah, so like that's what we assume is always happening. And like they kind of asked if the same thing happened to me. And you know, it came up Darren Hughes that like, yeah, this has happened before where I've had to like check and someone's been like, yeah, I am this person. You can Google my name and you'll find out exactly who I am. And I think that is a cooler thing when it's like, at a certain point you can, I don't know, it's interesting how money changes its value over time. Like, not just over definitive time, you know, clocks and time is very much a non-relative thing, it's a fixed in place thing. But also time is relative to the individual, right? When you have 50 years left to do things, you can pick up a ton of new hobbies. If you have 5 months left to live, then the amount of things that you'll want to spend money on will change vastly. And similarly, like on the income level, if you have, you know, if you've only been earning money for a year, you will have at most 1 year of salary saved away, right? And that's assuming you have no expenses somehow. And I think it's really interesting to think about stuff like that, of like, oh yeah, literally money means a different amount. At least if you're, you know, if you're responsibly saving a decent percentage of your money, as literally everyone ever will tell you to do, then slowly but surely you will change your value of money as you have more earnings, you know, piled up, accrued, and also a different amount of time to spend it in. You know, is that too much thinking about something? I'm sure it is. Also, today's stream was only like 2 minutes late. Pretty punctual for Toycat. Thank you, Evan and Miguel. That is exactly what I was thinking. But yeah, yeah, what have I done now, says Cat? So, someone came in and, said that the idea for this was stolen, and I mentioned that it came from you. So unless you also knew it from this person, and they were just saying, that, I told them that they needed to, you know, take it up with you, really, more than it, or like, rather they needed to credit you correctly. Today's video, everything's getting more expensive, we're earning less money these days, says more on our maths. You know, it's a fun thing because there's a really good reason why inflation needs to exist, right? And it basically makes you sound like an out-of-touch, like, monster if you say it. But there's too much, like, price stickiness in the world. Like, like, I don't know, you would never take a pay cut at work. You would almost rather be fired. But if you don't get a pay rise this year, but inflation goes up 2%, it's the same thing as getting a pay cut. But people are much happier with it, because, you know, like, there's just something psychological about humans and seeing the desire to have money always go up, I guess. And it means that, I think it has some psychological benefits of, like, by the time you retire, if you're watching this stream and you're not anywhere near retirement age, then it's kind of cool. I'm a little advocate. Can you repeat everything you said from the beginning on this stream? So hello everyone, I'm ibxtoycat, and welcome back to another live stream on the internet. I am playing some Minecraft, and I'm mining at Y11. Why 11? I hear you asking. I'm at 260 diamond blocks in my world. The goal is 500. Yeah, I think I'd like to get 164 diamond ore. I think that'd be really cool. I think 500 would be... I wonder what is the plan to do with the 500 cat. I bet you could do some really cool stuff with that. Yeah, that's my kind of thinking. It's kind of crazy how people have to pay for something, like diamonds, for just a couple of stacks of paper. Wait, it's very crazy how people... Oh, you're saying, like, in the real world, that's how that works? But, yeah, there's a really... I'm gonna start again. I'm gonna go into this. Y11? Y11. So yeah, we're mining at Y11, trying to pick up some diamonds, because you can do that if you're in an older world. Y11, I hear you asking? Yes, Y11. Yeah, next hardcore try when, says Polly E. Yeah, a lot of people have been asking for another hardcore attempt. What do you reckon, chat? Would a part of you feel like you've seen this before if I started again from day one? Because that's what you have to do. When you fail at hardcore, the thing they don't tell you about, well, I imagine the thing that literally everyone tells you about. But when you fail a hardcore attempt, chat, you just gotta start again from scratch. It's crazy that it be that way, but it really does. Yeah, basically we have to. Isn't that better than lower than Y11? I think there's a lot of argument and debate. We're sticking to Y11 to make the title work, and then we'll go down to Y9, and then we'll go up to Y10. Just cheat. That's what most hardcore YouTubers do. You know, I've never even considered this, but how easy is it to cheat? Like, if I wanted to, right? I don't. I can really clarify I don't want to. But early, I was thinking to myself, like, you know, I am in my first 100 days here, right? Assuming I hadn't made a backup, which I don't. Maybe I should have made a backup. Okay, so I'm in this world, right? Can I switch into creative? I can't. Can I turn on cheats? Oh, you can't. So if I want to get around this world, TP, I can't even TP. I have to... If I wanted to go see my woodland mansion where I died, I would just have to fly in that direction. And if I didn't know where the woodland mansion was, as is a very real possibility for someone like me. Oh, there was a jungle temple that close to spawn. This is why I've got to be better with things. Speaking of being better, thank you very much to Anonymous. I have an interview coming up with someone very important at Microsoft mid-now. It was your mad rambling that got me over the fear of the world and to begin applying myself. Oh, that's so cool, Anonymous. I hope you get the job. That is crazy to go from, you know, that world of like being scared into not doing that. Also, I would love to watch hardcore again. Don't give up. I thought the plan was to do another attempt. I'll be honest. What happened after? Do you wanna hear the real story? Is after I finished hardcore, I saw a message from someone being like, "Oh yeah, Echo's actually done this," and like it was 3 days ago. I was like, and he like it was on. He said it was on Twitch, and I was like, "Oh, that's why I didn't see it on YouTube." I felt really silly. I was like, even if I'd have succeeded, I wouldn't have achieved in my goal. But then I looked it up, and it was done the day before 1.20, 1.40 came out. So you know, in the preview, not the main game. And so then I was like, okay, has anyone done it in the main game yet? And that was like, I'd already given up by that point, but I haven't found anyone who has. Which is weird. You'd think it's someone would be working on it, right? Maybe there's someone who's doing it like as a video, so hasn't shared it yet. But as best I can tell, there is no public version of it. And I think it'd be fun to do so myself. No TP? Who's hoarding the TP now? Also, should I pick up all this redstone that's hanging around? I don't know if I actually need it. I'm just like, you know, if it's here anyway, right? And part of me feels like making something out of redstone would be cool later. Okay, so let's get back to my tunnels. We just, every now and then, we're just gonna start one and see how that goes for me. In fact, actually, my favorite part of my water tunnel is like this end, because this is where the big empty space is. And so it's the place I want to do the big strong thing from. Also, I like the long-term wild streams the best, says McBella. Yeah, honestly, they're some of my favorite to do, but I also am very aware that, like, no one comes here for them, right? Like, it's one of those things where if you already like them, you'll come and watch it, but there are no new viewers that will appear to one of these. I sometimes worry if I'm, like, being too transparent when I talk about how I make decisions and stuff like this. But yeah, so a lot of people want to see more hardcore. That's really reassuring. But yeah, as a the biggest thing that is standing between me and wanting to do it is not just the time commitment. Like, it's hard to make videos while I'm streaming 8 hours a day. There's also the much more crucial real life time commitment, because I have jury service, chat. I don't know if I should be saying that. Like, I don't know if, like, is that like committing a crime? Are you allowed to let people know you're doing jury service? Because if I say I'm doing jury service and then, like, there's a big terror trial happening this week, then could people piece together that I might be on the jury, and therefore if you you know, intimidate and or bribe me. By the way, bribes work better than intimidation. You know, like, could people use that to negatively impact not just me, but maybe the trial more broadly? I don't know the answer to that question. So I'll start being quiet about it. Also, ibxtoycat, Darren came up with a hardcore flat world. Man, yeah, the hardcore flat world was so cool. It's been, like, a part of me, though, is like, okay, not again for a bit. I feel like next time I do a hardcore, I want to do a hardcore challenge, but I feel like a part of me is still like, yeah, hardcore flat world would maybe kill me. Also, this content here slaps, says Jane. Thank you. Glad you say that this, also, we don't know which trial you're on. But again, like, in theory, if everyone announced that they were doing jury service, you would know at least a short list of who to intimidate and or bribe. Right, yes you can, but you can't say why until it's over. You're allowed to tell people you're on a jury, but you can't talk about the case till it's over. Oh yeah, I wasn't intending on talking about any cases I was on. You know, wouldn't that be funny, like, get home and do a vlog? Okay, so today, let me tell you about this guy. His name was Thomas a bitchy, and boy was he a bitchy man. You know, I know he didn't do it, but I'm thinking about sentencing him for a lifetime anyway. Chat, what do we reckon? Chat, let's do a poll in chat. You know, I feel like that's the sort of thing that it sounds like you're implying I'm thinking, chat, and I would like you all to know that that's not what I'm thinking about doing. You know, if only because that sounds very illegal and immoral, and because I don't think I don't think about people as being the worst versions of themselves. You know, if you're going out there to do a trial. Also, I've got some spare Never Stars. Should I put them in here? I think I'm gonna have to. I think I'm just like that low on inventory space that I can't afford to just do stuff like this anymore. So we'll grab some. We'll put in the Wither Skulls and the Never Stars, and probably the Potion of Regen feels like a good thing for there. Like, I need that sometimes, but definitely not now. And then let's grab our shulker box. It's funny when I was doing this when I was doing all this mining years ago, in this same world, I never pictured that one day I would do it with a shulker box. It makes life a lot easier than like continuously going up and down for trips. Anyway, is this old pre-cave update chunks? Yeah, exactly. You understand immediately, the Sun Man. Some people are like, Toycat, you've got to be playing an older version of Minecraft, and why? But I'm glad some people get it immediately. Too many variables to actually know which case you've been placed in. Yeah, I mean, in theory, right though, if you are in a small area, you know, I'm going too deep into this, but if you lived in a low population density area, there might only be one criminal trial per week or something like that, or per month even. And so if you're on jury service while that's going live, you know, and people know which district you're in or whatever. I'm just saying, you know, I'm thinking too hard about it. But I also am like very aware of the fact that like people can also use this to like harm you as an individual, right? Like you know, people could it's like as in general, you as a normal human being who just lives in the world, you shouldn't announce too broadly on social media when you're going on holiday. Because going on holiday is a fun thing for you, but if someone has ill intent against you, they can use that to work out when to break into your house or whatever, right? And you don't want people to break into your house unless there's something you're trying to claim on your home. You know, usually you don't want it. So there's a form of behavioral therapy that says where one of the steps requires accepting that everyone is always doing the best they can. Yeah, so that's an interesting piece of like psychology there. I don't know if I could ever accept that everyone's doing the best they can, but no one is actively trying to do bad, right? Even people who are actively trying to like mess them or yourself up, they're dealing with something awful and they will probably stop very shortly. Like there aren't a bunch of evil people out there trying to get you right now. Most people who are doing bad things, most people who are actively trying to hurt people are probably out there just thinking like, how can I mess stuff up, right? It's very rare that you manifest ill will against one person that way. I think like the most bitter thing in my life chat is I have like a family issue that has appeared of its own right. You know, everything was fine, but you know, something death like that. But like that issue kind of popped up of its own right. And even if I get like, even in my most like, man, why is someone being like this? You know, they have the opportunity to not. They've been, you know, they have this big event. And they even said that they wouldn't use the event. But like, even at my worst times of that, I'm like, if I was in those shoes, you know, if this had just happened to me, I think I'd be pretty shell-shocked. Like, it's the weird thing about the world is that when you're feeling bad, you assume like, wow, I'm going through this awful thing, and like, if only the world was more compassionate to me. And when you're, like, normal and, like, someone's doing something real goofy, you're like, why is this person being so strange? It's strange. Also, when is the next Seed Sunday video out? Pure curiosity. It was going to be today. I'll confirm that it's not. But I haven't heard a update from... Harrison yet. I'll see. No. So it's going to be a news video today. We kind of like thrown it together as a replacement. Yeah, and then after that, it's gonna be the probably the best seeds of 2024. This has been like a crazy year for seeds. So there's your answer, Knight. I'm actively bad. I'm evil, and I'm out to get everyone. I'm so evil, says the Sun Man. Oh no, everyone, watch out for the Sun Man. Don't tell the Sun Man when you're going on holiday. Boy, does he have some bad things he wants to do about that. By the way, we now have, look at that, we now have 7 diamonds. We've got too many other blocks to count. Honestly, should I just start not keeping track of them? Or do you think one day I'll regret not having all this stone? It's hard to know, right? That's always the rub, is that you don't know until it's far too late to know. The mob will kill you if they identify you're on part of the jury. Oh no, unperrier! Okay, Mr. Zombie, don't worry. I will not be voting to convict you. You don't have to worry about me. You don't have... Also, that's so weird the way you see, like... The zombie, but nothing else, huh? You don't have to worry about me. I ain't no snitch. Don't worry. Don't kill me. You know, here's something I've considered, right, chat? If someone ever, like, mugged you or, like, you know, took something from you at, you know, violence point and then said, don't tell the police about this, right? Would you listen to them? Or rather, if they got you to admit it, if you were, like, you know, trying to protect your life and you said, I'm not going to tell anyone, then the person lets you go. Are you honor bound? You know, like, you told this person, you know, in good faith, you told that person you would not be telling the, you know, the police about them, the authorities about them. You know, is it like dishonorable to then change your mind now that you are safe? Also, yeah, that's something I think about all the time. Your mining is so sporadic. I love it, says AJ. Hey, Jay, look at this. My sporadic mining technique is how I find not just 7 diamond ore, not just 8 diamond ore, but 9 diamond ore. Hey, actually 11 diamond ore. So the question of 9 or 11 is why not both? I guess. So, yeah, I think you should really do a marketplace review of Stampy's World, lol. Oh, you know, I could totally ask for a, I could totally ask him for a press copy or whatever. I wonder if he'd give it to me. Yeah, I surprisingly, one of the crazy things, this is shocking to me at least, is they, the marketplace has put it as a featured spot for like 4 or 5 weeks in a row. I'm happy with him. I'm sure he's happy with that. Yeah, I don't know. No honor amongst beefs, I suppose. Listen, I ain't no snitch. Exactly, right? If you say, listen, I ain't no snitch, then if you go out there and then you go be a snitch, isn't that being a little dishonest? You know, how is that murderer gonna trust the next person? And that's I don't know, to me at least that's a reminder of, like, you know, being a little bit selfish in the sense that you will value protecting, you know, like, I don't know, your stuff above, because if everyone keeps, you know, if the really you know, honest thief keeps hearing people are reporting him to the police despite promising that they would not, he's gonna think, oh, I guess I have to murder these people now, otherwise this happens again. Whereas if that person has full knowledge that, yeah, when people say they're not going to do something, they don't just lie and do the thing. That would be dishonorable of them. Then now he's not going to do it as much. There's like, I think society gets really complicated when you add like multiple layers of incentives to something. Like if you want to, it's really easy to say, we as a society should punish people who do bad things, right? That's the easiest incentive you can have. Because that way, if anyone thinks to themselves, maybe I should start doing bad things, they'll go, actually, never mind, I might go to prison. But what about, like, if, you know, like, the layers deep incentives of, like, so what if we start paying people to catch criminals? What if we say, if you catch a criminal, we'll give you some money, right? As society does, in fact, do. If we start saying that to people, these people, let's say you pay them per criminal, now these people are going to try and catch as many criminals as possible. Or you say, okay, so that they don't do that, we pay them per hour. For as long as there is crime, we will pay people to protect us from crime. And now we have this, you know, it's a common way that things are described of like certain departments of like, if you are a charity whose like sole statement is you need to prevent like heart disease, then like, you know, if we work out an easy cure for heart disease, or if your whole charity is like, we need to have very specifically a whole bunch of we're trying to solve the problem of homelessness, right? It seems like real easy one, get it done, build some houses. But then what are you gonna do? You know, whereas it's much better to like have a problem that you slowly deal with, that you know you make steps on, but if you ever finish the problem, you finish your purpose. You could argue this is what I'm doing in my Let's Play world. I could set, like, a definitive endpoint for this world, but then once the world ends, I'm not going to be able to play it anymore, right? And so why would you ever do this to yourself? I hope you have a wonderful stream. I'm having a little bit too much fun to be coherent anymore, says Dasher. I hope everything's okay. I hope, if you're watching this, Dasher, I hope that this is not a negative response to something. I feel like too often it can be, especially in the place in which you live, also the place in which I live. But I feel like it's very often like if you over potato juice yourself, it can be a sign of fun times. But if you're doing it yourself regularly, it's probably it can just as likely be a sign of not very fun times. And I hope that you consider what's going on and the fact that people around you do care. Speaking of that, ibxtoycat, how are you doing today? Doing just wonderfully. Thank you for asking. So the March of Dimes started about childhood polio. After polio was cured, they switched to birth defects. Oh, that's what the March of Dimes is. I've actually heard about it, weirdly enough. See, right, I like that a lot better than, like, being like, oh, well, there are still 5 people with polio, so we're going to try our very hardest to, like, it's... I like when something is honest, like, honestly, we solved the problem. There was a problem, now there just isn't. What do we do about that, huh? I kind of like a little bit of honesty to be, tucked in a way with everything else. Also, yeah, I think this is the first time in a long while that I haven't watched in 1.5 times speed. You can pause the video for 30 seconds in every minute, or in every minute and a half, and then you can replay at 1.5 times speed if you want to. Isn't it funny how your hotbar has to be placed in a certain way because it messes you up if it's not? That's probably a sign of something, right? It's got to be something in there. Toycat, have you gotten all of the ores in Minecraft? Yeah, funnily enough, I have. It's a lot harder if you start from scratch, I think. Because getting non-deep slate diamond is fairly tricky in a existing world. Like, it's not that tricky, but, like, it takes a bit longer if you didn't already start. But let's go view my collection. Toycat, do you think men have human rights? Says E. So, here's something useful to know. Man can mean either one gender of human, or it can mean human. When we say mankind, we don't mean, like, boykind. As funny as boykind is. Boykind sounds like definitely a thing that exists to someone's brain. But, yeah, there was more iron than that. Nope, got all the iron that I need. Thank you, the on-off beat. So now we're going to have to start really adding to our supply of stone. Oh, we've got so many shulker boxes full of stone. So I could put a second chest up here, and I guess I'm going to have to, just so we have an extra place to store some stone, because I want to empty the shulker box out, just so I have a proper place to put it all. And yeah, literally a 30-minute mining trip, chat, and I've ended up with all of these ores. I've got 11 diamonds, which is lovely, although I already had another 12 here. So, okay, let's see. Do I have every single ore in Minecraft? I have coal. I don't think okay, I've got 59 deep slate coal. Again, 1.17 made that a lot easier. I've got emerald, but I don't have deep slate emerald. How would you go about getting deep slate emerald? You'd have to find one of those particular biomes. Where does emerald generate? I'll go watch the Toycat video on this. So emerald ore, it generates between you can get it at Y0 very, very, very rarely. It's oh no, not even, right? You get it, it's 0. Okay, so it spawns so infrequently, but you can find deep slate emerald if you're in the right biomes. So does that seem like something we need to do? I mean, what's the point in having all of the ores, but they're not even the most valuable one? Sounds like something we need to go out and fix. Also, we've got so many coal, and we should even, like, I think we should split up our ore chests and have, like, an ore chest, but then, like, a deep slate ore chest, maybe. Like, an ore chest for, like, storage, and then an ore chest for, like, display. Because if we've got a whole stack of coal and a whole stack of redstone and, like, I feel like these should be separated. Just for the sake of collections, right? So we'll throw all of the gold in here next. And then we need some lapis. And then we'll move a pile of deep slate diamonds. and then a pile of deep slate redstone, and deep slate gold, and deep slate iron. And if we do this, it'll be more obvious which ones we have and which ones we don't have. Yeah, look at that. That's me being smart right there. So then we'll move our 59 deep slate coal in. And yeah, this seems fairly silly, but I think it's a pretty cool little decoration to have. So lapis, then deep slate lapis, and then diamonds, and then deep slate diamonds, and then I think it's just copper, deep slate copper, and emeralds left. So I do have a ton of copper lying around. I'm lying. I see 0 copper. I think I mined all of my copper. I did at one point have a ton of copper lying around, and here's my deep slate equivalent. And then I also have the reverse for emerald. I've picked up 11 emerald ores now, but never picked up a deep slate emerald, or if I have, I put it somewhere in my world. I think that's what it has to be. So yeah, as far as the actual use of these ores, I currently am working towards a... Okay, so now we can start to rearrange the rest of this to make it cohesively fit. As far as what I'm actually intending to do with this, as much as I'd love to agree with... as much as I love to be like, yeah, I am just the Sun Man. I just have collections. You know, I'm at the point now where I just collect things for the sake of collecting. The actual truth of the matter is that I am working towards a big like modern art museum. It's one of those ideas I've wanted to do for a while now, and so I'm slowly piecing it together in my spare time. I've got a really cool place for it, and hopefully now that I'm like traveling a bit less, I'll be able to find some time to piece it all together. Why did they even make a deep slate coal? I guess the same reason they made a deep slate emerald. The ores need to exist somewhere in the game, right? Okay, so if you want to see, I actually remember, I was like, why? How do I not have any copper or deep slate emeralds? I think I actually do have them, and I placed them over here. So this is my collection. Oh, and okay, so I don't have regular copper or deep slate emeralds here either. But yeah, I put this little collection here together, minus lapis apparently. So that way when I'm doing texture pack reviews, I can show off all the different ore types. But again, I forgot about lapis when I put them together, so... You know, how good was my thinking, really? So you should build something large, all that stuff, Toycat. No, I think I'll build more small things in my world. I think I like those too. Do you ever complete the beacon netherite, says Christopher Bowles? It's still a work in progress. My ability to farm skulls needs to be upgraded. I know a cheaty way to get it. What's the cheaty way, Kat? I'm curious what's on your brain when you say that. So now we're going to line up where the beacon is. I think if we have that beacon there, we should do something with this. Wait, what is this spot even here for? I remember I used this to get to the beacon, but I clearly can't have a beacon here anymore. So what do I have here? Just a bunch of blocks. Just hanging out, a little destroyed for no good reason. You should make a 17-hour stream where you look for deep slate emeralds. They don't exist. Do deep slate emeralds not exist? No, they definitely do. Deep slate emerald ore is a thing, right? I'm gonna have to. You know, you're making me. Let's quickly confirm. Deep slate emerald ore. Can it be found in deep slate variant? Okay, deep slate emerald ore. It has a noise. This is the noise when you break it. If you can hear that. Yeah, okay, deep slate emerald ore definitely exists. Or does it? How about we go find it? Deep slate emerald ore is one of the rarest naturally generated blocks in Minecraft, as emeralds only spawn in mountainous biomes and spawn less at lower Y levels. They spawn in veins of 1 and require silk touch to drop themselves. Okay. So, if they require silk touch to drop... Okay, that seems like a fun time. I wonder what the actual frequency of it is like. We could go find how rare or frequent it is by getting it. I remember I did the maths when it came out and considered myself like, I don't think I ever want to do this. But now that I've forgotten the maths, I'm sure that it's going to be very easy. See, the moment you disregard data, your life gets a lot easier. This is how people have fun. Like, a lot of people really hate the idea of gambling, because if you think about gambling as a maths problem, it's the worst decision you can make. You disregard data though, And all of a sudden, gambling's like, yeah, you never know, on the next hit, you might make it big. And, you know, we've all seen the Minecraft meme where they basically encourage us to gamble. There's an app called Find Diamonds where you can search for where the ore is in your world, so you can look for the ones at that Y coord. Oh, interesting. I would have assumed, yeah, I guess, I was thinking, like, wouldn't it be easier just to use chunk base or something? But chunk base doesn't say diamonds, I don't think. So I guess it makes sense that someone's done the same for diamonds. Years ago, back in my day, the way we did it is a guy called Toycat found all the diamonds in his world, saved the coordinates, and then said, if you want to use my seed, here are the diamonds. It was always one of my most popular videos, actually. It was a bit of a fun time in the old days of YouTube. 50-50, you either win or you lose. Exactly, Bearded Wanderer. You understand odds perfectly. If only everyone else understood odds as well as you do. Would be tremendous, let me tell you. So, Toycat, you ever heard of this old Minecraft YouTuber named Caveman Films? Yeah, we have a video together somewhere. I don't know the full context behind it. He seems like a nice enough guy. I can never... I feel like, also, charged creepers guarantee mob heads, even with skeleton skulls. Yeah, there is a real way that I could use that fact together if I wanted to. I have yet to do it, but I totally could. Every now and then I speak to like an old school Minecraft YouTuber who got huge in 2010 or 2011 or 12 or something. But they, like, there's this like kind of like, I mentioned this before, and it really ties into my worldview of like, it really sucks to get unexpectedly rich. Winning the lottery is one of the worst things that can happen. And early YouTube was kind of like winning the lottery for some people. I think it's, I think in a pretty good way, for people who were able to like, you know, like, for people who know what to do when you win the lottery, where it's like, okay, invest the money, don't think you have, you know, like, if you run into a whole bunch of unexpected money, the idea is you lock as much of it away as you can. But what you could also just do is throw it in your account and say, yeah, I just won't spend it though. And then something big comes up and you say, whoa, if there's an opportunity, if there was a reason to spend the $400,000, you know, the $700,000 that I earned in that 1 year of YouTube or whatever, if there was a reason to spend it, it's right now. But then also if, like, you know, you go from earning, you know, $500,000 a year to earning, you know, $15,000 a year, you probably have a lifestyle that's used to the previous way. Like there's all sorts of fascinating, like, problems that happen with that. And so a lot of old school YouTubers are like, okay, and now is the year that I'm making the YouTube videos that people are excited to see in current year. But they're like, no, this isn't what I want to do anymore. Like I've seen it happen like in my personal life. I have a friend who was never like huge, but like they made a living on YouTube, but they never really liked it. And so they've tried to get back into YouTube, you know, to be like, okay, so I'll be honest, I'm out of money, I'm near homeless, let's make some videos. But it's one of those things where people seem to like spot if you have like a passion, if you have a caring for what you're sharing. Ooh, caring for what you're sharing, that sounds like a motivational speech. Whole problem thing. I'd be actually okay long term if I won the lottery. You're welcome to prove me wrong. You know, I think without any, if you'd never heard of a lottery before, right? If you just got home one day and someone was like, here is some money. Your only condition is you don't give this away and you don't give this back. You have to spend this money somehow. I think, like, the biggest single problem in the world is, like, lifestyle inflation. The idea that you spend, or not in the world, I guess. The biggest problem, money problem in the world, is that as we have more money, we naturally want to spend more money on making our life easier. But, you know, some things that you can spend money on make your life a lot easier. Like, a dishwasher is incredible. I got one a couple of years ago. It's amazing, chat. You put your dirty things in it, and then they come out clean. It uses less water than if you do it yourself, so it's more efficient on a resources level. But it's also more efficient on a time level, because you never have to think about like, oh yeah, I've got to clean this thing when I'm done. Hope I clean it well enough. And nope, just clean. It's magical. So if you get used to having a dishwasher, let's say, and then you have to go back to a life where you can't afford a dishwasher, like, you know, you start renting very small apartments because you move to a big city, your lifestyle takes a notable downgrade, right? But if you never had a dishwasher, your lifestyle can't downgrade because you never knew what a dishwasher was like. That's the idea of lifestyle inflation. Once you get, in the same way that money will never deflate, you know, like we've just gone through a huge bout of worldwide inflation where your money has become significantly less. You know, like we've gone through a huge bout of that. We're never going to go through worldwide deflation where it's like, oh, money just keeps being worth more and more. We don't know what to do about it. And same thing is true for lifestyles. Lifestyles rarely deflate. Even if the actual money supply does, we try to find ways to keep up our same lifestyle. Anyway, so keep your expenditure tiny and your money will be less whiny. I love it, Cat. I love it. Anyway, so Cat, our dishwasher's not very common in the UK. I think they are at this point. I feel like I never had one growing up, but I feel like it's rare that you see someone without them now. But you know, maybe I'm wrong. I only got one when I moved house because I just didn't have space for it in my old house. But now that means I could never move back to a house the size of my old one, right? Or with the kitchen the size of the old one, I guess. I could have a similarly sized house if it was dedicated to kitchen, or if I gave up having a sink or something. Yeah, I have a dishwasher. I call her Sweetheart. I make this joke too often too. I will one day get in very serious trouble for it. But for right now, it works just great. So next up, I think I have to do something about all of this lava, because it gets in the way of my beautiful long tunnel here. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to, first of all, load up the shulker box. So we got too many blocks in this anyway, right? So load them up, throw them in. Anything but the ores. Or actually, maybe a full stack of ores can go in there too. Okay, nice and easy. Then we're going to grab our one water bucket, and we're just going to turn this into obsidian. Okay. That's one way to do that, I guess. And now we'll mine it. Dishwasher was a sign of wealth growing up, says Bearded Wanderer. Yeah, there's a lot of things like that, right? The one that I think is really interesting is a smartphone. Like, having a like, within the last 5 years phone is insanely wealthy to me as a 12-year-old, right? Like, you can just get a new phone. You don't just get the Nokia 3310 that's been passed from person to person in a never-ending series. Like, you know, but then, you know, you get to a stage where, you know, like now you can be literally, you know, like homeless, and it's kind of expected you have a phone still, right? It's like a huge controversy when, like, you know, refugees or whatever, you know, like they're fleeing for their lives and they have no money, but they have a, you know, like last year's iPhone or something. And like to some people that's controversial because it's like, wait, these people have more money than me 10 years ago and they have to flee to here. And then some people it's like, no, actually, that is not wealthy anymore. Because wealth is always changing to the observer. By the way, thank you very much for the tip. I really appreciate it. Izzy Devoir. If you play Minecraft too much, your brain will experience a total blockout. Thank you, Izzy. By the way, if you do want to have a... if there's something... I don't know why this has happened, but I'll point it out for anyone who's not familiar. It seems as though a lot of people, if they have like a more thoughtful super chat or indeed, ideally Streamlabs tip, that they usually use these streams as a way to talk about them because we have more time to actually like dive into an idea. Whereas if we're playing hardcore, also there were diamonds here the whole time. All these years, chat, there have been diamonds that far away from me because I just haven't mined the blocks to get there. Can't believe that's been true. Like this shouldn't even be there, right? There's just a random string of blocks that shouldn't even exist. I used to have a dishwasher, and I'm watching this as I'm hand washing dishes in a new place that does not have a dishwasher. Is your life a lot harder now, Yahorn the Free Giant? I bet it is, right? I bet it is. Getting a phone at 12 is wild. I had to wait for freshman year. Yeah, it's a real parental debate now of like, do you give a child a phone at like 10, at 5? I've got family members who have like 7-year-old children with phones. I have family members who waited till their children were like, you know, like 15, 14. Like, there are so many different ways to treat it, I guess is my point. And Does anyone know the answer? Nah. That's what I kind of love about these subjective things in the world. Like, there are some things where we try to get correct answers, but even then, it's just like more educated guesses than anything else. Also, yeah, you can't easily interact with UK government services with web access, so our society requires up-to-date phones. Yeah, that's an interesting point too, that once the government started requiring it, it was a thing. And the government started requiring it because it was a way to be more efficient than, like, having a bunch of people sit around in an office somewhere to... You know, if you think about it, I know to older people, this is not the way you see this at all. But, like, you know, to people who have grown up with expecting that if there is a reasonable way you could do something online, you can do it online. The way things were done before the internet, and the way that things were done after the internet was mainstream, but not adopted everywhere, is you'd go to a company, or you'd go into a store, like, say, your local government services office, and you'd be like, so here's what I want. And they'd be like, let me type that into my computer. They're like, the computer says this. And basically, the entire reason that person existed is for you to be able to talk to the computer, because they hadn't set up a public way to do it. I still feel like that's kind of how it is with, like, airlines to some extent. Is like, you know, some airlines are really, really good at, like, making this forward public-facing. But it'll be like, oh yeah, I was denied boarding for a flight recently. I was going to Sweden, and I was going to Sweden and then returning the next day. And when I got to the airport for my flight, you know, it's like 2.5 hours, they're just like, oh, sorry, we actually overbooked your flight and you don't have a seat. And I was like, oh, okay then. And I literally, like, I was, like, happy at that point of, like, you know, I could have taken or leaving this trip. I was kind of doing it, like, because I had the ticket and obligation. And I was like, oh, perfect then. Can you just shoot me over the compensation, like, that, you know, like you often do in this thing? And you don't even need to rebook me. We can just, like, take the money and be gone. And they were like, oh, well, actually, you know, I'm looking at the guidelines here. The computer is saying... we can't give you any compensation unless you take the flight. Because, you know, we can't delay you for a cancelled flight, only a delayed one. And I'm like, so you're saying there's not enough seats on planes right now, and everyone's having to be rebooked onto future flights. But one of those seats has to be taken up by me, or you won't refund my flight even. They wouldn't even, like, offer, like, to give me the money back for the flight they weren't giving me. It's like, yeah, sorry, that's how it is. And it's like, so you can't do anything about that. You know, like, there is right now we have the literal issue of, like, there is a huge shortage of resources. We have to decide who to allocate it to. And your system has decided that you should allocate some of those resources to me, a person who has said I will be happy not to take the seat on the plane. They're like, yep, that is the logical way that we're doing things. And it's like, yeah, well, at that point of not being able to do something, why aren't they a computer? Why are they not a robot, you know? Because, you know, that is the one thing that people say that is a problem with computers, is, like, they don't understand real feelings on situations. They can't actually help with the real facts on the ground. But actually, it feels like in a lot of cases, you know, like, people who sit behind computers and interact with them for you, they're also not empowered to make those exact same decisions. But they didn't provide the service at a date and time you paid for. Yeah, I think I would have had to, like, credit card charge back. And, again, like, I probably would have been successful. But again, my goal was, like, usually, I don't know, this is kind of greedy, I guess. But I was like, I want them to also cover my hotel that I cannot make now. And also to cover... Whereas, you know, chargebacks are like, if they don't deliver a service you paid for, you get the money back. But I was like, but also they've made it impossible for me to provide, you know, to go to my hotel and for all these things that I booked, etc. Again, I feel like, you know, maybe that's a greedy thing to say. I want not just the money that they have deprived me of, but also the money, or rather not just the money that I spent on them, but the money they have deprived me of using. Which I eventually got, by the way. Again, it cost them a huge amount of money because they insisted on giving me a seat. They could have given me far less money and not flown me there, but, you know, airlines be airlines sometimes. So, I'm now going to mine back through the ceiling. I realize my shulker box is very full. Oh, actually, I brought it with me. Perfect. So, yeah, they locked down, like, limited marker. Okay, so most service jobs are just type this into the computer for the customer. Yeah, and honestly though, every now and then, I'm gonna try and be the counterpoint to my own argument. Every now and then, I'm like, okay, this is much better than doing it myself. Like, the easiest example is probably airlines again. Actually, no, hotel check-in, I think, is a good example. Of, like, when you... hotels are always asking you, like, oh, yeah, make sure to provide these details before you get here. And they ask for all sorts of things that no one knows. Like, what is the long number on your driving license? I think, like, car rental's the same. Like, what is the long number? And it's like, okay, so I'm going to pull out my number. I'm going to type it in painfully slowly. When does it expire, etc., etc., etc. And if you do that, you save the person at the desk 5 seconds, where they take your ID, they scan it, and then it's all in the system. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's... You typing this in for the computer for me is much faster than me, who does not have this computer with the scanner on it. Speaking of computer with scanner on, thank you very much to Abby Simon. Just found my first ever ancient city in my world. Pray for me, lads. Abby Simon, good luck. Or Simon, maybe? You know, I guess it's in the eye of the beholder, whether it's Simon or Simon. Anyway, traveling is a package, not just a piece. No, traveling with a holiday is a package, not just a piece. I think traveling with a flight, like, you can't sue an airline if you buy a ticket. Like, if I buy a ticket to go to Minecon or Mine Festival, and then because my plane is delayed, I can't go to Mine Festival, I feel like that... Or like, let's make it an even bigger thing. Let's say I need to be at this business meeting to close this $10 million deal, right? To start a new Mine Festival. Because that's what deals are all about. If I lose that 10 million deal because the airline puts me on the next flight and therefore they close the deal before I get there, you can't say like, well, if I had been there, this would have happened. You might be able to. At least that's my view of the world. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the silly one. So what do you think of Black Ops 6? Toycat says nep nep. Oh, I'm really enjoying the zombies right now. The multiplayer is I want to say the multiplayer is bad, but I know if I'm being realistic, it's just that I don't enjoy it. I think that idea of grinding away and slowly killing people in multiplayer, I think it's been a very long time since that has appealed to any part of my brain. Like, I will sit here and play for 8 hours so that on hour 9 I'll be slightly better at shooting people. Because even by hour 9, it's not that I'll even be better at shooting people, because I'll be playing people who are better at shooting me anyway, right? It's usually a case where they lose money on you, but in general they get more money. It's the penny, foolish, dollar-wise way they see it. Yeah, it's also I memorized mine. It hasn't changed in 30 years. Oh, joint specialist. Oh, that might be. Oh, where are you from? My license is issued in the UK and it's up for renewal soon. Actually, no, it's not, because I changed. I got it upgraded from provisional to full. So I think it expires in like 5 years now. But I'm so terrified. I have to learn a new passport number, and I was worried the same would happen with my driving license. But if it doesn't, I might as well just remember my driving license number. Again, assuming it's not going to change. I love knowing the weird piece of information like that. That like, just being able to save yourself, going in your wallet, pulling out your ID, finding the number on it, etc. Big game changer. So, speaking of game changers, let's now breed some cows. I'm going to probably kill some at the same time, because it looks like we've basically started to do that by accident anyway. But again, I just want to get my hands on a ton of leather, and if I have to do it this way, I have to do it this way, you know? So run around, and we can even use, actually, these are pretty synergistic activities, because look at that, my netherite pickaxe can take a little bit of a repairing from this. And then we can even do like, do some of this. Oh yeah, some even more healing. And there we go. Now the netherite pickaxe is more ready for whatever I was trying to do with it. So now we'll go back to this chest for the extra steak we've got in there. And I didn't pick up any leather apparently, which means I have to now run around here and hope that we didn't miss some. 23 leather. Not a great number, really, is it? That's like 23 bundles. I think I want to have 480 bundles. So we're currently about 450 short. It's just gonna require so many cows. It's gonna take a lot of cows. So cat. A lot of British people have to play VO60 because of shooting guns. You know, not gonna rise to the bait. But you know, actually, just for your information, we do have guns in the UK. It's the genius, in my opinion, the absolute genius. This is what America needs to do. If you want to solve your gun problem, but you're worried about not having access to guns, here's what you do. You take away guns because of some big national tragedy, right? You pull a, we're getting rid of the guns, and then you know what will people do? They'll be like, oh no, the guns are gone. I guess I can't shoot people anymore. But then the real enthusiasts, you know, people who want to like do target practice, etc., make it still possible for them to get access, but have the main street, you know, like have the large media at large, and indeed the popular culture report it as, oh yeah, there are no more guns. Driving license numbers don't change at renewal, at least not in the USA. So is it just a photo? You know, I need to look and see if that changes. Also, we need string, says Cat Beanie. Yeah, I should check out my string suppliers. I haven't seen if they're good enough in a while. Also, there's lapis in here, right? Free lapis. Not a lot. I need to go do a big lapis mining trip, really. I guess we'd use deep slate because it's quite rare to find the normal stuff. Also, yeah, we are filling up our inventory here. Do we have a need to put stone in here? I would bet we don't. Yeah, I bet we got a ton of stone. And I would bet correctly, it looks like. Throw some cobblestone away, throw some gravel away. And let's go back down. But yeah, that's just not enough cows to kill and get 480 leather, I don't think. Maybe I'm being under-optimistic. I'm gonna breed some more cows. I'll just breed the more cows now, ask the questions later. Do you have a spider spawner? Yeah, I do have a spider spawner near where all the ores are, actually. I'll go near it, and I'll give it a chat. You just described Canada as a blue orca. Yeah, that's what the UK has done too. I think it's absolutely genius that you can, if people think that they don't have access to something, like, okay, can I be really cynical with you for a minute, internet? I think if I'm being totally honest, a lot of people don't actually learn or know facts themselves. They learn things because it shows up something on some form of entertainment they're watching. Like I don't know, it really only sunk into me today, like, the value of having, you know, like, entertainment inside of education, or education inside of entertainment. It's for some people that might be the major source of entertainment that they get, right? Like, or rather, the major source of education that they get. I never really like appreciated it until, like, I don't know, like, it hit me today that, like, yeah, it takes a lot of time and effort to go out and learn all the different things in the world, and so if we just largely believe that something is true, it sort of becomes true. If you know, there's enough movies about something, and you know, we all have this somewhere in our own world, like something we thought to be true because it happens in movies, but actually isn't real, right? Also, hey Toycat, are you using the bundles yet? Says Thomas Posivy. I think mining trips are one of those spaces where they're just not very useful yet. One day that won't be true anymore, but today that is very true. So, yeah, also good to see you, Erode It. How are you doing today? Hope you're doing great. You have enough cows to start your own restaurant chain. You know, maybe we should do that next. That sounds like a good idea to me. So we'll mine these blocks as we go up and towards the next place. Just to keep the tunnel looking somewhat consistent. It's one of the least consistent tunnels of any description anywhere in my world. But, you know, we'll feel like we're doing something here. So, Kat, what editing software do you use? Okay, there's like 5 answers to this question. I used to edit in Premiere Pro when I stopped editing my videos. Now if I edit myself, I'll use Windows Movie Maker or CapCut. But most of my videos are edited in iMovie or DaVinci Pro. Literally every single way that you can answer that question is a different editing software. CapCut is the best if you're trying to make, you know, like TikTokable content. It's like really good for like, you know, on, what's the word, like on meme, on trend, trendy, I guess maybe. If you want to make trendy content, I feel like CapCut's the one for you. So yeah, I love you saying something cynical, surrounded by a million cows who are so loud. I mean, I'm just saying, the way the cows moo without even thinking about it, you know, they're not wondering like, should I be mooing right now? They just go, do I want to moo? And then they moo. You know, I've kind of like, a part of me's changed my mind on that recently, chat. I used to be very like, we should all actually think about what we're doing in this world. But recently I've kind of enjoyed like, you know what if you just don't think too much? It really sucks for everyone around you when you don't think too much. But it's great for you personally. And so I'm coming to the conclusion that maybe that's just the way things should be. Maybe we should just all not think very much. So we'll remove that block and that block. And I don't know where the water's flowing through right now. Where is it coming? Okay, there's a gap there. That makes a lot of sense. So we remove that block, and then we remove these blocks. And now we got a way that the water doesn't overflow, but also isn't too dark. Nice. Okay, so then we'll keep running this way. I think we'll remove the ceiling just a little bit around here. And now let's go check in our string farm. So I just watched some YouTube videos about densely populated cities that they are finding that existed in pre-Columbian Amazon. Pre-Columbian Amazon. You know, Amazon just hasn't been the same since they did their big expansion to Colombia. Totally agree with that. It's cool that despite you being a large YouTuber, you use pre-editing softwares. Yeah, when I got into YouTube, it was a time where we're all trying to work out how to improve production quality. And so I spent a lot of time learning Premiere because that's what they use to edit movies. And I was like, logically it should have the best stuff if they edit the movies with it, right? I'm going to swim through this little gap, by the way. Don't know if it will let me, but there we go. So this is how much string I have. I don't know why this stopped spinning, by the way. Can I start that spinning again? Do I have a trapdoor? I haven't been here since crawling was added, so I guess it's going to be fairly tricky, but I bet I can do it. Is this filled with string? Okay, I'll just break it. Where'd it go? What? Okay, there we're at. So we'll just give it a nudge around here. Okay, is it going to pick up any string? There's no string for it to pick up. So yeah, we're going to hang out in this general area. Assuming the spider farm even works. But even if it doesn't, that looks like that's probably just about enough string to make 480 bundles. So you need 8 times 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I've got enough to make my bundles. If you think too much, you become sad. If you think too little, you cause several issues with just about everyone you know. Yeah, that's... yeah, I really agree with that. I have Premiere Pro, but for the price, I'm going to try DaVinci. I would recommend CapCut. If you, again, like, if the adding value to things, on the internet you realize that if you aim for, like, movie quality, you'll make a worse version of a movie. Whereas if you aim for high-quality social media, you can make something that's... I don't know, like, this is my revelation, at least, that, like, you want things on the internet that look somewhat amateur. And so CapCut is really good for, like, amateur, but with some cool effects. But, you know, that's just, I don't know, that's my take. Like, I value things, like, I mentioned this a lot, I value the honesty of the internet. If you don't value that, your results may vary. Again, the fact that Harrison uses iMovie after all these years, is it because he uses a Mac? Is there something in there that I just don't know about? Like, I still don't use Photoshop after all these years. I'm such a big, you know, evangelical for GIMP, I would say. So, also, yeah, if you stop thinking, if you overthink things, you'll become depressed. But if you stop thinking, you cause problems for other people. Yeah, I would kind of say that's it, right? Is like, not thinking is such a easy way to create problems, but such an easy way to remove stress and pain from your own life. It's so easy to just turn off the thinking. Just let this be other people's problem for a bit. It's I think it's why if I can bring a little you know, I know I like to go a little historical on things sometimes, a little philosophical. Also, what are your top tips for being a YouTuber, says Retro Gamer? I would say, as much as I hate it, you need to find a type of YouTube content that you think only you are making first. It has to be both unique and good enough that people like you, presumably, would want to watch it. That used to be challenge 1, and then challenge 2 would kind of solve itself. Now I think you need to be really good at knowing how to, like, target. How do you find people who want to see exactly that thing that you have found that you do that no one else does? And, like, I would say shorts are a good example. And a lot of people find a way to do successful shorts, but that no one would ever watch their YouTube videos after seeing. So you have to solve that problem. And then beyond that, you have to solve the problem of, like, okay, and how there is a scale of raw to produced that you need to find out where you fit on. If you're too produced, you know, like, people won't like that. If you're too raw, people will never subscribe to it, you know? Like, what's the point in that? It's very, very hard. Very, very hard. All moving minecarts keep getting stuck, and I don't know why, says Corbin. Yeah, it's... I would love to know if it is a fixable issue. Because I've always heard something about chunk boundaries, but I'm not even sure that that's true. I think it's just a thing that people are saying. I think what I'm going to do, by the way, is I'm going to make a double chest of stone down here. I'm going to put it, like, over here somewhere. Yeah, like, right on this wall. And then that way, while I'm doing stuff like this, I just have a place to store it. But yeah, I'm hoping that now some spiders are spawning in. I don't know if they are. I'm going to go look. Do you see any spiders, chat? Oh, they're only going to spawn if I'm literally standing here, right? Like, I'm going to have to AFK at it or something. Will they spawn if I'm AFK, though? I think they changed light levels recently, so I think they won't. I think literally... Okay, if I remove that torch, is it dark enough yet? I don't think it is. If we remove this torch, and this torch, and that torch, and that torch, is it dark enough now? I think... Okay, so now we're going to have to place a cobblestone over there. And then a regular stone up there. Is it dark enough? There we go. So this is how my spider farm works, chat. It's probably a lot more efficient if I kill the spiders myself. But, yeah, I don't know if I can, like, be on the other side of this door and have it still work. I assume so, though. And if I can, then it should just passively work while I'm doing other things. Do dirt blocks make you run slower? No. No, they shouldn't either, really, should they? I love running on dirt. Gotta admit, one of those few things I kind of get. There we go. Okay, we got a little farm running around here. But yeah, we'll just leave that to run. I don't think I need much more string, but if I pick some up by coincidence, that'd be nice, right? Make the room with the spawner darker. Are you saying spiders are scared of the dark? Am I going to kill them that way? See, I think I've done most of the easy branch mining that I can do from here. But I'm going to try and find some extras that I can do anyway. Like right here. This seems like a great place to just start mining. So let's do it. Let's mine. Oh. Yeah. I think overthinking is one of the most... Like, I guess there are two ways you can overthink things, but I would say oftentimes overthinking... There's, like, the right amount of thought for things. If you way overthink things, it's, like, selfish. But, like, being thoughtful is one of the most valuable things that you can do in life. And so if you start to think about, like, other people's experiences on things and stuff like that, I think that's a useful personality trait. Whereas, like, I think we all know someone who's, like, really, really nice, but also very careless, right? And I think people don't value that. But also, I'm learning, like, every now and then, like, if you just turn off your caring filter, if you're just, like, or your thoughtful filter or whatever else we want to call it today, I think that has some, like, real benefits to you. You know, a lot of people are very good at, like, justifying stuff like this, with, like, self-care. But I really do think there's, like, just a point. Also, what did I just do? I've lost my water, chat. It's gone. I know it's got to be in there somewhere, but I don't know where there is. Do you think I'm going to find it, or do you think it's gone forever, chat? Surround the spider room with amethyst glass. Yeah, that's probably the best idea, Dan Marsh. Like, right, I built it before that existed, but now that that does exist, I might as well make a little improvement to it, right? I'm using a stream as a podcast while I play Minecraft, so it's just another YouTube commenter. What topic would you like the podcast to discuss today? We're taking viewer suggestions. I think I do that too often. I think this is I think it's something I need to be better at with streams. I feel like I'm doing a favor to... Like, this is an example of, like, I'm going to be thoughtful real quick. It feels like you are being really nice if you say to chat, hey, would you like to come up with a topic for me to talk about? Feels like I'm doing you all a real kind favor, right? Like, I'm like, oh, look at Toycat. Really cares about his chat if he's just going to talk about a thing just because we want him to. But in a way, it's kind of abdicating your responsibility. As the one person with a microphone in this room, it's my responsibility to have something to talk about. If chat comes up with some fun riff, if that, you know, like a fun idea, like from Dan right there, or if chat has a really interesting insight, like the one about, you know, thinking too much versus thinking too little, that's interesting. But okay, let's just. I keep forgetting that there's lava here, and that is just it's just a day ruiner when you rediscover that there's lava somewhere. Ouch. Average results 1.9k to 1.7k, but I couldn't get nearly as many people to watch most of my videos. I think the thing that will help you with YouTube Shorts is if you just divide by 10 what you think a YouTube Short view is worth versus a YouTube regular view. Like, that is to say that, you know, an interaction, right? A view on, say, Instagram or Twitter is worth less than a like on Instagram or Twitter. You know, like, if a friend says to you, hey man, how are you doing? That matters less than if a friend says to you, oh, hey, I heard that your dog died and just wanted to send a message to let you know that I'm really sorry, you know? Like, they're both messages, but they have different values. You have to weight them differently, or you'll assume that your friend who says, how are you doing, man, cares about you as much as your friend who says, you know, that really sucks, man, etc., etc., all the things I just said. Okay, so we're going to mine that block so we can still see, and then we're going to start mining over here. Hey, Toycat, wanted you to say that I really enjoyed yesterday's video, right up my street as I love achievements. I'm curious about how that video will do. My editor said he spent almost a month of his time on it, and I was like, that's insane. And he's like, yeah, it probably was a bit insane. We had a funny interaction. I asked him, like, I was like, oh, I misspoke in the intro. I hope no one's caught it yet, so thankfully. But I was like, I re-recorded this audio. Can we add it on there? And he's like, I'll be honest. I spent too long on this video, so no, I'm not gonna do that. And I was like, okay, you know, I feel like with most people, I take that as a rude thing. But again, with someone who's just like spent that much of their life on something for you, you just go, okay, then that's how Amble is. That's his communication style he's using. And power to him for it, I guess. I wish I could not think. I really, really cannot. My brain just doesn't stop. Yeah, it's like overthinking can lead to all sorts of issues. Also, least favorite topic and why, says Corbin. My least favorite topic is probably... It's fun because there are very few topics that I don't like talking about. I think I like talking about politics with people who are interested in talking about politics. I don't like people who are single issue politics discussers, you know? It's like, you know, I would enjoy talking about, video games with someone who likes video games. But if someone's like, I want to talk about, you know, Starfield. Starfield is the game that I want to talk about. If you want to talk to me about games that aren't Starfield, I will keep bringing the conversation back to Starfield. Also, it's not just that I will only talk about Starfield. That is not the end of my issues. I will talk about Starfield, and I only want to hear opinions that it is the best game of the year. And if you say anything that isn't, this is the best game of the year, I will imply that you are complicit in the murder of Jeffrey Epstein. So, you know, let's have a conversation. It'll be real fun, you know, like, it's, There are people like that with politics where you're like, I regret inviting you to say words. As soon as we are done with this conversation, I'm going to go back to wishing that you were not saying words. So, also I love the video too. Thank you, Polly. I appreciate it. YouTube Shorts are reheated content. Not always, right? Like, if you watch the shorts on my channel, we don't reheat the content. If only because it means that, like, the biggest reason not to do that is because if you then... It's like, I don't know, if you were selling cars, or, no, imagine you were selling, like... I can't think of an example. Like, if you were selling alcohol at a bar, and you said, here's a free sample of my alcohol. No, what's something you only need to buy one of? Like, you're a locksmith, and you're like, hey, I will give you the first key for free whenever you want it. If you want a second key, though, you have to pay. Everyone's going to come and get the first key, and then just come back again and get another first key if they want another one, right? Like, there's an argument to be made that if you just recycle your content into shorts, you're just wasting the content. You're making it so people see it, but have no desire to actually watch it. Whereas you can make more interesting stuff with that. I can't wait till the political ads are done. Yeah, the election's real soon. I think, again, politics is an interesting one because, like, I think the one thing I'm kind of, like, done with is people being like, ooh, have you heard? Blah, 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 blah is doing really well amongst single mothers. But blah, 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 blah is doing really, really extra well with the Hispanics this year. And it's like, oh, yeah, this is usually up my alley. I love demographic stuff. But it just feels like, oh, man, are we really accepting, like, very visually that, like, yeah, the way democracy works now is there are very few swing groups in a few swing places. Those are the people who decide for the rest of us how we live. Like, we've tried to undemocracy democracy as hard as we can. It sometimes feels like, the idea of democracy is everyone's voice counts. And we finally worked out how we can get back to a system where, like, some people's voices counts. And everyone else's are equivalently near worthless. So, yeah, my brain is in permanent flight mode due to my childhood trauma, says Polly. Yeah, that's a very real thing that happens to people. And it makes sense too. It takes a long while to realize it. Also, I want these eggs to cook, chat. I'm gonna leave them in this furnace for as long as it takes for me to get a cooked egg. Also, I've watched hundreds of hours of your content over the years, but no shorts. Oh, if you never watched my shorts, they're unique content. I would never tell someone though. Like, if you're watching this, I'm really proud of yesterday's video. I'm excited for you to watch today's video. I wonder if it's doing well, actually. I should check. Going well. I'm excited. Like, my YouTube videos are something I'm really happy with, and my YouTube shorts are something where I'm like, I hope that people see these and want to watch another one. You know, maybe that's why I'll never do as well. Like, you have to come into it with the perspective of like, this would be the best thing. So, Kat, what do you think your place in the... See, this is example, right? Also, are there British elections right now, too? Says Jarrett Allen. No, you better believe the world's following your elections, though. Also, horse race commentary is so tiring. Yeah, I don't want it to be. Like, I want to be interested in it, but I'm just like... I feel like... It just feels draining in a way that I can never quite put my finger on. So we're gonna put the lapis ore in here, since we still are looking for some of that. Where'd my lapis go? I swear I grabbed that. I'm like very sure that I did. And then we're gonna take our diamond ore. Besides one. No, we'll leave our diamond ore in there. We'll just put this in here. So far today, chat, I've gotten 17 diamonds. Pretty good if you ask me. Given we started streaming a little bit ago. Did you ever think about revamping the storage room? I kind of like it the way it is. If I'm being honest, Nap, I feel like these hallways being a little bit cramped isn't perfectly ideal. But ever since I expanded the height of the room, I feel like it looks great now. I think I have a beautiful storage concept, but I just never go there. And so it makes me realize that I want a convenient storage room more than I want a good storage room. Like, if you've never seen it, actually, now is probably the time. No, I've got so much stone. I'm going to go empty my stone, and then I'm going to grab string, and then I'm going to show you. Okay, so stone's not going to fit in there. Will fit in here. There's just so much of it. Just so much stone. What do I do with all the stone? I put it in the stone place. And then dirt goes in here. And then we'll empty out our ores too. Just because we are, in fact, picking those up. And then we'll grab our arrows from there. Perfect. Okay, so I wish Minecraft was about managing resources rather than brutally exploiting the environment. Oh no, I love brutally exploiting the environment. I think that's what I enjoy about Minecraft, is you are fundamentally changing the environment, and it's up to you to make it positive. Or for you to decide what positive even is, I guess. To go on a deeper level. Yeah, I think this is a space that could really do with revamping with the amethyst glass, as Dan Marsh calls it. Do you have some videos from a year ago or longer that continue to do surprisingly well? Yeah, I feel like I'm the only person who admits this to their subscribers. Again, like a lot of people, maybe YouTubers even think this themselves, but a YouTuber's job isn't to make today's content. Like, that's not what I'm getting. Most of my income doesn't come from today's video. It's kind of switched recently, so it's like close to 50-50. But for years, the thing that, you know, made me good or not at making videos was not will today's video get views or whatever. It's how many the back catalog gets. And so there are some really interesting examples. See, Dan Marsh, I'm taking a question I bet no one cares about, but I want to answer, so I'm going to do it anyway. I found a video yesterday. It was when Black Ops 3 first came out. It was a guide to the new Gobble Gum system. And that system has since become very hated. But I spoke about it positively because there were no microtransactions at the time. It was just, here's a system for getting some stuff. And so my Black Ops 3 guide to getting Gobble Gums, it gets about 15,000 views a year. I think that makes me like $30, $40 a year, right? Like, it's a passive stream of income. And so that video gets more views than that video makes me more money in a year than you know, like a video I made in 10 minutes in 2014 is a more successful piece of content than my beating Minecraft with only 2 inventory slots challenge. If you're not familiar, I played Minecraft and I locked up all my slots besides 2. I spent hours doing it. I went insane, but I had a also video just dropped. Hey, that's exciting. That's very exciting. Congratulations to my lovely assistant for getting that done. So, okay, have you watched Parkour Civilization? I think it would be fun to watch Parkour Civilization. Okay, you know, can I be honest with you? I did watch Parkour Civilization today. I decided that, like, again, I'm trying to now ease back into, you know, I've for the last 5, I think out of the last 6 weeks, I've been traveling 3 of them. I've had such a busy time and had to, like, prepare content while I'm gone. Like, it's been, like, non-stop craziness. And so today I was like, okay, let's take a step back. Let's work out, like, what we're doing, why we're doing it. Like, it's an important thing to do at least once a month. And I, also, Gobgums were fine, but Liquid Divinium was a stupid system. I can see why they stuck with one and not the other. So yeah, if you've never seen this, this is my mega storage system. As you can see, I literally have mega things full of different ores and all of this stone. Wait, what is this right there? Is that light gray dye? That's andesite hanging out with the stone. But because I never use it, it's not very useful. And I don't use it because it's too far away from, like, all the stuff that I'm going to. I guess now I could probably use it. Because I, you know, like, it's kind of close by to the ladder from this. Maybe. But I still probably won't, so that's my problem. So, yeah, what I'm going to do now, you should watch it. It's, yeah, so I watched Parkour Civilization today. I think it's a really... I think it's clever because it does that thing where it builds a really interesting world. And then, like, you could believe that it is made for, like, you know, late teenagers But really it's aimed for like, you know, like, I don't know, like 10-year... It's also like so basic that a 10-year-old could understand it. And on YouTube, that's like an important thing for making like, you know, successful gaming content, right? Is there's always the 10-year-old quotient who are just watching on YouTube Kids, don't even know what they're watching, they're just, something has hit something in their brains, they don't even know why they're enjoying it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put all my string in here. Or I could put my string... I can make a shulker box specifically for putting things in. Yeah, I'll make a brown shulker box. So this shulker box is empty. Let's get some cocoa beans, which must exist somewhere around it. There they go. Yeah, something fun I only learned from hardcore is you can still, after all these years, unlike on Java, you can use cocoa beans straight as a die. And so here is my brown shulker box, which I can throw right over here. Okay, shulker box down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's about 700 bundles. And then we'll take the lever from here. 67. Yeah, I'm going to need a lot of hay. I'm just going to have to accept that I need a lot of hay. And then I'm just going to have to do it. But yeah, I enjoyed Parkour Civilization a little bit. I thought I love world building on that level. But I think it fell a little bit flat a little bit quickly. But it also the fact that I can be critical is not me saying it's bad. It's just like it makes me wish I could. I don't know. It's like I want to see like that but better. I hope someone makes it. I love when content can do something like that. So yeah, if your storage is far away, why not use the nether to shorten distances? But the problem is like there's a nether portal here and there's a nether portal on the other side that are already so close together that they wouldn't even work as unique portals today. So I can't put it that close to my stuff. It's an unsolvable problem, I tell you. Absolutely unsolvable. Okay, so this is probably not enough cows yet, I don't think, chat. I can do a little mass killing spree. I'm gonna just do this, if only for the benefit that, like... Okay, that's 67. I'm doing this solely so I can make sure that I don't kill the baby cows who are getting trapped in these corners here. Like, there we go. That should hopefully... No, there's a lot more cows here than I guess I realized. And now we have a bunch of baby cows that will hopefully grow up. Okay, so how much have we got now, chat? We've got 1, 2, 3, plus 4. So we need 8 stacks, I think it is, to get the amount of bundles that I'm looking for. As a minimum, really, more than a maximum. Do I have any extra leather hanging out inside my house? No. Do I have leather in here? 13 leather. That counts. And I'll put my eggs in there for now. So yeah, what do you reckon, chat? Looking at the number of cows I just killed and what I got, will I get enough from this? Or will that be a fool's errand? It's nice to at least have my steak refilled. Oh, steak! Chat, you know, it's crazy because 1.21.40 just came out. I still haven't gotten used to some of these titles from 1.21.30. Like the fact that my sword says mending rather than mending eye, it feels wrong. Look at that, it doesn't feel correct. But the same is true for like steak instead of cooked beef. What's going on with that? There's a chicken in your cow farm? You know, let's hope that when I start my restaurant we can iron out these issues. Should I kill the chicken? There's no good reason not to, right? Like, let's... Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to kill a baby cow, but not cow. Okay, there we go. That's a lot more cows killed. Just really free up some space. Try and let the babies out of these corners so they don't grow up in there and then immediately kill themselves. Okay, so that's 5 stacks. I do think we probably do have enough now, actually. Should we just go for it? Should we find out? If I'm wrong, it will take me a while to realize that I'm wrong. And that's almost as good as being right. Oh, no, yeah, we are, the pickings are running real thin here. There's a decent supply left. And as you can see, we've got, yeah, we're doing fine. You got any villages that sell leather? I don't think there are any villages that sell leather. Am I wrong about that? I think you can sell leather to villages. That you never would though, right? There's never a good reason to do that. Also, I'm very glad that I'm finding all this extra leather that's just hanging around on the ground. Would have just lost that otherwise. So we'll have to breed probably another couple rounds or so before I'm confident leaving this. This is my last pile of hay bales, which I'll turn into another stack of bread cans. When are you going to do hardcore against this, Sean Sheep? Oh, whoa, look at this. So I actually talk about doing hardcore again in my new video, which you can watch right now. That's right, go to youtube.com/ibxtoycat and you can watch that video. I am very happy with it. That's what I said earlier, you heard me. Yeah, I think I'd like to do another hardcore. I think, yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun. Can the cows overflow? Also, look at how many baby cows there are mixed in with the adults. We'll have to wait until there's some aging happening there. But for now, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're just one stack short. Which means probably having to go and do some wheat farming. How long do you think the oldest cow in the pit has been there for? It's a fun question. I like that one a lot. Yeah, what do you think we should do to expand this farm, chat? I'm now... Oh, so that's not the correct place for that. This is the correct place for that. I'm now kind of realizing that, like, this farm is plenty big, but maybe I should just go bigger. I could just expand it by making it more square. I can make it less square, like make it into a T by going underneath the beacon. Or I could dig it out an extra block underneath the fences. I guess at least in the places where these exist, I should remove these. Like, if I make that like that size, hopefully it traps fewer animals. Right? Oh no, didn't mean to do that, buddy. Then it will also hopefully help with cow flow problems. I'm not even sure. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I just know that I've done a lot of it. And that after all that mining, I got not just 17 new diamonds, a lot shorter than 164 that I was hoping for. Turns out that's going to be a long project. But I got not just my diamonds, but I also got my happiness. Speaking of my happiness, I hope you've enjoyed... Oh, wow, I've got too much beef. Oh yeah, too much beef. Let's throw some beef into this chest. It's kind of nice that I was worrying for a while now that I would run out of beef. Or steak. But I'm good to know that I'm getting that. Build them a roof. That won't help them. I had a silly idea to cover my wilding glass. Or at least like the parts bit that I'm worried about being struck by lightning rods. I think it'd be like a fun yeah, so you could build a lightning rod. But you know what I do? That'd be a fun like alternative to that. What if you extend the cow farm over the lava? That's a good idea. If you remind cows that life could be worse, they might breed faster. That's what humans do, right? We go through something traumatic when we start popping out children. Anyway, with that said, I hope you all enjoyed today's live stream. I do think I'm gonna start a hardcore challenge again sometime this week, if I am free from my government due obligations. If not, then we'll probably be back to the... If I'm not free from my government obligations, then I will have to record... Like, it's crazy. It's like I'm picking up a new job that I didn't sign up for and specifically would like not to do. So I'm going to get home from it at like 5 p.m. I think it is. And so I have to make my videos in that time. So we could maybe stream some of the days. But again, my whole life schedule now is determined by the government. I hope they decide to not put me on a long case or something like that. Anyway, with that said, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you... I mean, tomorrow if you're due to undergo a trial by jury of your peers. But otherwise, I'll see you later. Goodbye. Also, there's going to be a Seed Sunday soon, maybe as early as tomorrow. See you next time. No, no, no. Goodbye. Didn't expect to fly. Let's see where this takes me. Hardcore is enjoyable because you're focused, less rambling, says Un Perrier. Okay, let's be focused next time. We'll turn off the rambling and turn up the focus. Okay, thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Whee! Oh, this is so cool.